I mean, how cool are those opening credits? Fancy, right? Oh, Kyra, my friend, you are muted. There. Oh, no.
Naturally. Of course I was muted. I was just going to say that music always gets me amped.
Amazing. So today, I'm excited for today's live stream coffee chat. Today, we are talking about TikTok, more specifically, BookTok. TikTok is wild because when it first started, it was, a dancing app for teens. Mm-hmm. That was my general understanding. Maybe it was trying to be Vine. Wasn't really sure. Didn't even get on it until pretty late in the game, probably in the pandemic when, there was nothing else going on. You're cooped up in the house. You're like, well, I might as well get on this thing that everybody else is on, right? Mm-hmm. Turns out it's a really great way to sell and promote books. There are a lot of readers on TikTok. So today we have an author with us, Aparna Verma, who is going to answer all of our several questions about TikTok, BookTok, and how to go viral. She has been able to sell many, many a book, getting several hundreds of thousands of views and followers to look at her work. And I'm just so excited for today. Kyra, do you have any additional thoughts?
Well, as somebody who admittedly does not know a lot about TikTok, but is like living vicariously through a lot of my colleagues who know so much about it, I'm just really, really, really excited for this conversation today because clearly Aparna is killing it on BookTok. And I just really want to learn and glean from her expertise. And I don't know, I'm just really excited about this because I'm really thinking about taking the TikTok plunge. Full disclosure. That's like a selfish thing I'm looking forward to.
I'm hoping that after this chat you do. Honestly, I look forward to it. Like, you've been really stepping up your Instagram reel game, so I'm excited for you to get a TikTok and join the dark side.
I'm really so,
without further ado, here's Aparna. Hi, Aparna. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great. We would love for you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah. Do you mind giving me a second? I'm going to grab the book so I can at least show you what it is.
Go for it.
It's a beautiful cover, guys, so brace yourself.
It has a lot of like sticky notes because I had a reading, and so I was like, what am I going to read? This is the bad boy in action. The spine is probably so sexy. Like, I just love the gold on the black. So my name is Aparna Verma. I'm the author of The Boy with Fire, which I published through the New Degree Press. It is a sci-fi / adult fantasy book inspired by Indian mythology. It's about an ex-assassin, an heiress, and a king's struggle for power when an ancient god threatens to destroy their world. So it's the first of a trilogy, and book 1 is out. It came out in end of August. It has over 2 million views on TikTok. It's actually the first ever South Asian fantasy book to hit over 1 million views on TikTok. I'm the first ever South Asian writer to hit over 1 million views on TikTok. And it's been an incredible ride. It's only been out for 3 months. It's doing really, really well. And I think it's through TikTok, especially, that I've been able to afford like so many amazing opportunities through speaking engagements, book box collaborations, etc., etc.
That is a thick looking book. How many words is that book?
It's 137,000 words. It's funny when compared to other like sci-fi fantasy book, it's actually not as thick. Because we try to cram as many words on a page, to get the page count down and make the book cheaper for people to buy. Yeah, I think it's like at 436 pages right now. So that
is a beauty.
Yeah.
How long did that take you to write?
Drafting took 4 months.
That is impressive.
Yeah. Well, that's because this book idea has been in my head for like the last 10 years. So I was already building the mythology, the history of the world. With any sci-fi fantasy book, there's a lot of world building that goes on. Yeah, right. And so I think just doing 10 years of homework made the 4 years of writing happen, 4 months of writing happen. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, after all of my questions not related to TikTok, here's what people have been waiting for. So, what brought you to TikTok is our first question.
Yeah, funnily enough, I was a holdout against TikTok for this most of 2020 and the beginning of this year. I didn't really join TikTok until April or May of this year. And the reason I finally decided to do it because my brother, like, who's on TikTok, is like, look, it's a great place to like tell people about your book. You know, you're more likely to go viral on TikTok versus like Instagram Reels. So like, why don't you just post? I was already doing Instagram Reels. He's like, why don't you just post it on TikTok? And so I was like, oh, okay. I was dragging my feet about it, and I finally took the plunge, and it's been so much fun. I think TikTok is great. And interact with other book talkers. That's what they call it. Like any person on TikTok who makes book content, they call them a book talker, and they call the book community on TikTok BookTok. And I've been a part of the community for the past few months. It's incredible. It's amazing. Very, very friendly to BIPOC authors and BIPOC stories. So I just felt like, the boy with fire had a great home there.
Kara, you want to ask the next one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just okay.
I want to let you
I'm
speak.
so real. I mean, of course. I mean, I've just been thinking. I'm just trying to process all of this because not only does your book itself sound fantastic, because low key I've been stalking you on social media, and I'm just very intrigued by how you're able to not just imbue the world building inside of your book, but also respond so proactively to TikTok trends. So, a quick question that I have for you before we ask our next formal question is: how often do you find your TikTok content responding to trends that are popular on TikTok? Like, how does that fuel your content creation?
Good question. So I usually always follow trends, like, just because that's what's really going to get your foot in the door, especially at the beginning. Like, if you see a TikTok trend happening, jump on it and see if there's a way you can adapt it to your niche, to your book, whatever you're advertising. Because it's going to get initially it's going to get the most eyes, and then once you start building that community, then you can start experimenting with your stuff. Like, you don't always have to do trends. You can just do what you want to do. And once you've already built that community, people will start to respond to that. Before, though, like, I'm at the point now where I'm like starting to do that. But even now, I love participating in trends. I think they're just so much fun. And they're not hard to spot. The trick is to find a trend before it blows up, and to jump on it before it gets saturated.
Which is so hard. Like, you have to kind of get lucky with that one unless you have a strategy for finding a trend, like right when it's starting to blow up.
Well, you can follow. What's great is that there's so many TikTok like gurus or like marketing specialists who are on the app who do TikTok like trend alerts. So I just follow them. And whenever they find a trend, they're like, oh, hop on it. It only has like 2,000 videos. It's going to go up. Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they're right. But if I find the trend worthwhile, I'll jump on it. Otherwise, I have my own method of like, if I go, on my For You page and there's a sound that keeps coming again and again, that I haven't heard before, what I'll do, I'm trying to like pull up my TikTok, is like click the bottom right, which is the sound itself, right? Like, you can see the revolving like vinyl disc. And then you'll see like how many videos have been created. And if it's usually less than 100,000 videos, then I'm like, okay, it's just like it's a blossoming trend. Once it starts to go a little over 100,000, like, okay, it's starting to get saturated. You might still get like the come up of it, but you might not.
I mean, like, and this naturally leads into our next, like, I guess, umbrella question, because you already started to explore a nuance of this. What would you say your TikTok posting strategy is at large?
Like, how often do I post, or like the content?
Yeah. How often do you post, and does that cadence influence what you post?
Yeah, so I used to post like 3 times a week, just getting started. I think that's pretty normal, like once or 3 times a week. But then I quickly realized to get eyes and to trick the algorithm to promote your content, it's essential to like start posting every day. And I found out what works best for me is that usually I'll like take the week to kind of like research new trends. If there's a trend that I think I can hop on that day, I will do it. Otherwise, I will like save all those sounds. And then on the weekend, I will batch create content where I will just film like 10 to 15 video or how many I want. Right. And then throughout the week, I'll just keep posting. So right now I have like 35 videos in my draft right now, sitting in my drafts, and they're just knock them out, ready to go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Yeah. I think what's great is that like I really enjoy it. So to me, it's not work anymore. So it also depends on like how comfortable you are. If you're enjoying it, you're gonna have a lot of fun. If not, then maybe it's not the best place for you, or maybe you need to find like another strategy where you just maybe film 5 videos for a week and that's it. And you do that on a Sunday to film, and then you're good to go.
Do you own a tripod?
I do. I have a ring light and a tripod in that corner of my room.
Do you recommend aspiring TikTokers have one of these?
Yes, for
Same.
sure. Yeah.
It's life-changing. It makes making TikToks so much easier because you can do the hands-free, you can do the timer, you don't have to worry about your phone falling off of the random books that you're trying to position it on.
Yeah.
If you don't have a tripod. The only thing you do have to worry about, new problem that I've had, is my cat tries to attack my tripod while I'm filming.
Yeah, I always kick her out of my room when I'm filming. Like, my cat can't come up here when I'm filming my TikToks. Yeah, I also don't like having other people in the room when I'm filming my TikTok because I just feel so self-conscious then. There's like, what are you? Because if you look at TikToks behind the scenes, you look crazy. Like,
yeah.
It's like, what are you mouthing? Like, what kind of dance are you doing? That's why I just do it in the safety of my room where no one else can see, and I'll just post it that way.
Absolutely recommend not doing it in front of other people. It's embarrassing, but then you get these like, so that's the funny part, is you don't want to film them in front of other people, and then it's like, yes, but let me go and show this to hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah I think because they're more strangers, and then like your mom or your brother, like, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, so we would love to know about the moment when you started to go viral, and maybe the one particular video that was like the first one where you were like, oh snap, I've gotten onto something here.
It's a good question. There've been a couple now. I haven't hit 1 million yet. I've hit over 100,000 views. But I have 500,000 views. I haven't hit the 1 million mark. It's getting there, but I'm like, one video, one day. But gosh, I'm trying to think, like, which one. Like, for me, virality can mean different things. Like, if you have 100 followers and somehow you hit 10,000 views, that to me is viral. Like, it's always in orders of magnitude. Yeah. So don't feel bad if you post a TikTok and it doesn't get 100K views. Like, it's normal. Usually you won't get that. There's always like one-off cases where it happens. So for me, I think the first video that actually, like, I think it only got up to like maybe like 20K views, which I had like less than 1,000 followers on TikTok. To me, that was like a huge deal. And it was just me, like, it was like this one weird TikTok audio where it's like a woman saying, hold on, hold on, hold on, and like varying levels of emphasis. And then says, bitch at the end. and that's when you slam your book down. And so what my concept was is like, with each hold on, there's like a book trope that would come up on the screen. And so I found out, just researching about BookTok, just a little tangent. Before, when I joined TikTok, I did not start posting right away. Like, I took about like a month or 2 months just studying what the trends were, what relevant book talkers in my community who wrote adult or who liked reading adult fantasy or start reading, in the genre that I was doing, what they were watching, what they were creating. One concept that everyone, I feel like authors go wrong in is like they target other authors. Do not target other authors in your TikToks. Target readers. The authors, we love them, but they're not going to buy your books as much as readers will. Okay. They just won't. And I think that's one thing that when people ask me, it's like, how do you get discovered on BookTok or like stuff like that? It's like, or what am I doing? It's like, stop talking to writers, start talking to readers, right? Like learn what they want in their stories and how they communicate it. One thing that I found that readers love to talk about are book tropes. Now, I knew nothing about book tropes when I joined TikTok. I did not know what enemies to lovers were. I did not know what a slow burn was. I did not even know what a meet cute was. Like I was like in my silo just writing and I was like, what is this? Right? But then I found out people really love when you tell what tropes are in your book. And sometimes it's a spoiler, but it really helps readers set expectations for the book and know what they're getting into. And some people just like to, have a good idea of the book before they pick it up. And so in this TikTok that I was like, saw a lot of views, I started putting, as the woman said, hold on. With each hold on, there's a new book trope that came up on the screen. And at the end, I came up to the camera and like slammed my book. I was like, this has everything like on the screen right now. And people were like, oh my God, it has enemies to lovers, it has slow burn, redemption arc, corruption. Okay, like, and so that was a really, I think, like clever way of just marketing. I know what you want. This is how you can get it, right? And anyone could do it with your book. Like you could target whoever your audience is, right? Like if you are writing a fantasy book or if you're writing a poetry book, like find other people who read poetry, right? And then basically just target what they would see. Like, how do you write a book? Rather than like, how do you write a poem or some of my favorite like opening lines to a poem, some of my favorite opening lines to a fantasy book. And then you could throw in your own and people are like, what is that? You'll start to get them to see eyes on your book. Did that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I've definitely noticed that BookTok loves romance tropes. Like all three of the first ones you mentioned.
They love spicy BookTok. I'm just like, what?
Spicy BookTok is wild.
Never seen it anywhere else. Now I'm seeing like spicy BookTok tables at my local Barnes and Noble, and I'm just like, what the heck? Yeah.
I actually have a quick follow-up question.
Yeah.
Low-key, I have two, but I'll start with the first one. So you mentioned at the beginning that you went through a month or two long period of just sort of gathering data and gleaning and just watching the ecosystem. Would you recommend that similar research time for authors new to the space?
Everyone should do it. Do not start jumping in and posting because you're not going to know what you're doing. Right? Like I believe in baptism by fire. I have lived that motto throughout my life. This is not a situation where you do it, okay? Because
you'll make your life so hard if you do it that way.
Yes. Please do your research. There is no rush. I feel like everyone is like, I have to post now or else no one will hear about my book or other people are going to beat me to it or et cetera, et cetera. They're not. Take your time. Do your research, really understand what the readers want, not the writers, what the readers want, and then start creating.
Yeah, you're the only one who can make whatever it is you're going to make. So no one can really like beat you to it, as it were.
Exactly.
That's true. Exactly. That's true. I mean, just as another quick follow-up question in the nature of like discoverability, have you found that really TikTok is a space where if you're an author, your audience does exist on TikTok? Or is it more, and you just have to find it? Or is it possible that an audience doesn't exist on TikTok because of assumptions made about that audience?
I think, I don't know how many users there are on TikTok right now. Like, hold on, let me do a quick Google search. Because I feel like it's over 1 billion, right? There's someone who's like you in that billion. Let's be honest. Yeah, right. It's 1 billion people on TikTok. That's literally like a country. No, it's more than like 3 times the United States, right? So that's why I'm saying it's like there will be readers on there for sure. You just have to figure out what they like to see on TikTok and how you can cater your book to them.
Yeah, that's a great segue into this question. Like, ultimately, you kind of answered it by saying, why should authors get a TikTok? Because someone who wants to read your book is on there. Out of a billion people?
Yeah.
What else might you add to this question?
Let me just grab it real quick so I can show you what's about to happen. So there's this, I will say TikTok has helped me in get so many opportunities. First of all, if you're shy about like, oh, I don't know if I can speak well or whatever, TikTok is worth it because it's a stepping stone to greater things. Because of TikTok, I've been invited to so many speaking opportunities. I was invited to like BookTok, TALK, LK, which is like the biggest virtual international bookish event. And I got to speak, like was on a panel with other amazing adult fantasy writers. I was interviewed for NBC News because of my TikToks. Like I was also interviewed for Fox News because of my, like, being an author on TikTok. I've had book boxes reach out to me and like create special editions of my book and character art for it. And so like I grabbed two of them. One of them is going to come out in March. So it's not the actual book, but this one's one of them, Caffeine and Legend. So my book, I have the author's version, so the book is not in here, was a November book box, sold out completely. Like every single, and usually they always have 10 left over, 10 to 15, everything's gone. Because everyone knew the book, when they found out, oh my God, I'm going to get a signed copy and there's going to be like special goodies inside of it. I want to get this. So like, let me see if I still have stuff in here. This book box came with like, the tea is gone, but it came with like its own special coffee meant for the book itself. So each book box has like a theme. So this is Edge of Darkness. And this was for my book, which as you can see has the same colors and it has like darkness and shadows and fire. And so that's why the coffee is Into the Darkness. We had like a bourbon fire tea. I've been using this matchbox that says light a fire that they can't put out. Oops, sorry. That's meant for the book box. And then my favorite was they commissioned an artist to draw the phoenix that came in my book. And that's on like vintage dictionary paper. Right. And this is TikTok. It's going to be in this box, Nerdy Book Box, in March. It's getting a new cover for it, like a special edition cover just for this book. No one else will get it. It's going just today. We should finalize it. A book box in South Africa is doing a hardcover special edition with sprayed edges, exclusive like book jackets. And because she found my video on TikTok and wanted my book to be the first one in her book box. So whatever the reason, whatever like hesitations you have at TikTok, let it go because the opportunities are worth it.
At Kyra.
So worth it. Like, I'm just like, look at this. Like how you can't lie about this, right? So do it.
That's so cool.
Well, it also helps to have such a fantastic book.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, for sure. I think at the beginning of the day, you need a good book. Like, let's not forget that. You need a good book.
Wow, it's so cool.
Yeah.
So a quick question that I have before we launch into again a formal question is, how much do you feel TikTok has to be consistent with the rest of your author brand? Is TikTok a place for experimentation, or is it a place of like solidifying your brand from the outset?
Yeah, I think TikTok, the nature that it is more so for experimentation, because I think TikTok is the baby of all the social media apps. It is the biggest baby, over 1 billion users, but it's still rife for experimentations. People, from what I've experienced, don't really take TikTok too seriously. It's not like Instagram where everything has to be presented very beautifully. It has to be aesthetically pleasing. TikTok, you can put something in your sweats and possibly go viral in it, right? And so I think BookTok is a place where authors can really experiment. They can cosplay their characters. They can act out a scene. They can work with other cosplayers and do a duet, and like have that person play their character and they're like another character. The possibilities are endless. I think just there's always this fear that I had. I think everyone has this fear before joining a new social media platform or just making videos that feature themselves, is that how I'm scared of talking. I'm nervous. I don't know what to say. It takes practice for sure. That's why I say take 1 to 2 months to research, just get familiar with the camera, like make a bunch of videos and just save them in your draft. You don't have to ever post them. This is your time to get comfortable with the camera and get to understand the TikTok community. Hopefully after you've done all that research, you'll feel a little more prepared and hopefully, more comfortable posting videos about your book.
That's super encouraging.
Yeah.
The gears are turning.
Good.
Oh my god. All of the ideas.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely some of my more popular videos have been ones that were literally the lowest effort. And that can be kind of frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I spend like an hour putting together something and then it just flops versus something that I went boop 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 done and it goes wee, it's like it almost balances out and makes up for it, but it still leaves me feeling a little bit like
no, I feel that all like when I have to dress up for a reel or a TikTok and it doesn't go viral, I'm like, hello, I put up makeup. Like I should be appreciated, but no, they don't care. Yeah, so that's another thing I think, like when it comes to like mindset about posting on social media, it's like don't take it seriously, like make it a big deal and start to like become frustrated or like very intense about posting. Take a step back, take a break. Because people are gonna see that a mile away. They're gonna see this person's trying too hard. This person's like they're putting too much effort. TikTok is one of those weird beasts where the less effort or the more effortless you look, the better you'll do.
And there's also you're speaking to a degree of authenticity. If you act like a real human, this is going to sound weird to say, but if it's less performative, if it's more authentic to you and your personality, people are going to be naturally drawn to that.
I agree.
And that'll also help you not stress out about it too, because you don't have to worry about, pretending to be someone you aren't, because that would make content creation that much harder.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is just please, please, please have good audio quality. Just please, just try to have good video and audio quality. Your iPhone is enough for it, okay? But do not make a grainy video and think it's gonna go viral unless it shows a ghost or like an animal or like a baby. That's the only way it's gonna go viral. Otherwise, please, please, please have good lighting, have a good video camera, a phone, whatever, because that's gonna help you. Just because TikTok's not gonna push it out if it doesn't look good. Let's be honest. If it's not good video quality, TikTok will not push it out. So just for the sake of the algorithm, get a good camera.
Use your phone, use your smartphone. It has a really nice camera. And if you don't have a ring light, stand in front of a window or a lamp.
Yep.
Where the light is facing you and illuminating your beautiful face.
Exactly.
So we have some cool questions in the chat here. This one's a good segue into what you were just talking about. What is the biggest piece of advice for an author first starting out on TikTok? I feel like you touched on this a little bit, but if you had to pick one of the many things that you've said.
Yeah. I guess the biggest one is just, do your research. Just do not rush into it. Do not think it's a race against time. Please, please, please do your research. Do not be one of those authors who goes and comments. It's like, oh, check out my book, or like, oh, this is my book, and no, especially if you don't have any videos to support it. Do not do that. I'm only now doing it, and what's crazy is that people will say, "Oh my gosh, you commented on my video. I love your book," and I'm finding readers. I'm at that point where I'm 34,000 followers on TikTok, and I'll go on my For You page and I'll have follows you sign, and I'm like, wait, this stranger knows me. It's a very surreal experience. So until you get to that point where you on your For You page you find people you're watching who are already following you, do not start commenting on people's TikTok saying, hey, please check out my book, or, hey, my book is also like this, yada, yada, yada. Do your research and be cognizant of another BookTokers community. You do not want to feel like you're intruding or you're trying to take up space. Respect the community, learn from them, and then start to cultivate your own.
That's really good advice. So I think that this one's funny. Is there a filter I can use to make me look like a supermodel so I can film anytime? I think that's hilarious because what you did touch on was the fact that, like, it's interesting. Either looking effortless can mean it can be makeup. It could also be no makeup at all. It's kind of a mixed bag. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So there's TikTok. There's like a lot of filters. Like there's a jelly one. There's a glow look or whatever. I always found that unless you fit the Western stereotype of what is beautiful, meaning thin, blonde, angled cheekbones, you do not use filters because people are going to call you out for it. And like I said, TikTok is all about authenticity, right? Even if you have dark circles under your eyes, someone's going to say, I have dark circles like that. I guarantee you someone on TikTok is like, I feel you. I have the same dark circles, because that's the type of community TikTok provides. It's not about perfection like Instagram, and it's not older people like Facebook. It tends to be younger people who are sick of other social media apps that demand perfection and want our authenticity at this time. So just be yourself. Just as I always said, always have good lighting. Good lighting will infinitely make you look better. Standing in front of a window or a ring light, it just bleaches out any imperfections. Don't feel comfortable, always have good lighting. That's going to help you.
Yep. TikTokers will notice also just tiny details about your video, anything that they can relate to, they will find it and they will comment about it. I had someone comment on one of my videos, hey, I have that same Target painting that you have in your background.
I love that.
That's a comment. Like, I'm happy with that engagement.
You love this.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, very specific question. I have a feeling I know which one you use, but I'll let you answer.
I can bring it here. I don't know what it is. It was my brother's. So funny enough, I used to do YouTube back in high school, and then I stopped when I went to college. So I was already used to doing videos, being comfortable on camera, and then he started doing YouTube, got more subscribers, has a lot of sponsorships. And they sent him this tripod that he no longer uses, so I took it. It's just like a regular. Sorry, it's like pulled out right now. It's just a regular tripod. This is an attachment. It didn't come with this tripod. I just got an extra ring light because I found it infinitely helps you with your videos. But the best part, I think, lighting of them all is just to use your window. Like on a sunny day or even a cloudy day where the light's a little bit more muted. It's great for videos.
Oh, I like this. You're asking a lot of good questions. Okay, so for virality, I've heard you can take a trending sound, put it on 0 underneath your video, and doing your voiceover.
I wouldn't put the volume on 0. I would put it at 1 because TikTok will know if you put it on 0 and they won't push out your video. But you can put it on 1. And that's what people are doing with new Taylor Swift songs. Oh, for her version, like her version of mine. Yeah, people, and then it's just, they're going viral, and it's just them talking. So just put it on 1. Put it on 1.
Pro tip.
And use that trend video. What's great is like if there's a certain trend or movement that comes with a sound, and if you can do it. Otherwise, just use the sound.
Yeah, I like this question. How would you recommend making content for nonfiction books?
That's a great question. So, you know what's funny? I know who. I'm trying to think. There was a video that I made. It was kind of like a joke. It wasn't a huge deal. I'm just trying to figure out where it went. And it was based off of a TikTok idea that I was seeing. Anyway, sorry about that. I can't find it.
No worries. Beauty of the live stream. It's imperfect.
Yeah. No. Okay. So say you're writing a book about museums or galleries or, whatever. I did a TikTok about, is that what you're doing?
Yes.
No way. Okay. This is going to be okay.
That's literally.
Here's a fun video. Beautiful. Beyond the Halls. Great. So, I did a TikTok that went viral, mostly on Instagram Reels. On TikTok, it went up to 200K views. On Instagram Reels, it has over like 650,000 views. It's getting close to 1 million. It's crazy. Instagram Reels, here's another pro tip. If it goes viral on TikTok, it's going to go even more viral on Instagram Reels. Because Instagram is putting money into becoming the new TikTok. They are soon going to be paying creators to create content on their Reels because they want to beat out TikTok. That's why they're pushing out videos more. So if you can repurpose your TikToks and put them on Instagram Reels, like you don't have to reinvent the wheel, just post the same content, you're probably going to get a little bit more views because Instagram has a point of just dominating over TikTok. They're trying, they haven't done it yet, but they're trying. So, take advantage of that. Now,
don't forget to remove the TikTok watermark.
Yes, please do that. Yes. And I can talk a little bit about how to do that later. But for nonfiction books, so say, for example, you're writing a book about museums. There was a TikTok that I created. It was like a funny, like POV. And I set it to a trending sound, and it was me sitting at a vintage typewriter that I have and saying, POV, you're a writer writing about New York City socialites in the 1930s, right? It went viral. It is my most viral video ever. It's not even related to my book. It's related to a fiction book that I have the idea for, but people loved it. Fiction. What if you're writing a book about New York socialites in the 1930s? That could be a nonfiction book, but it's a POV, right? People will grab into that, right? Say you're doing a nonfiction book about space exploration. POV. You're a writer writing about the next biggest expedition to Mars, whatever, right? People are going to grab onto that because suddenly you're involving them through the simple POV. Like, put yourself in my shoes. You're a writer about to do this, or you're a reader reading about this. People are going to grab onto it and hopefully find your book if you link it in your bio.
Engaging the viewer with either POV or saying the word you, like bringing them and making it feel personal is going to have your video is going to do better.
Yeah. Like POV, you're about to do this, or POV, like you love space, whatever, right? So pick up this book or something, have fun with it, experiment. Again, if you are writing a nonfiction book, see what other nonfiction writers are doing in that space. See what they're doing. Steal like an artist and make it your own.
Steal like an artist. We love to hear that.
I don't do exactly the same thing though. Like,
because
that's just not cool.
Yeah.
We don't want to do
unless
that.
you do an IB. Like there's an IB where people, which means inspiration, and you'll tag the original creator. Like I've had people do that where they take like the same exact content from my video, and they'll just say inspiration Aparna Burma, right? And I will just see that. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And I'll comment and like it. And it's just really nice.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
Yeah.
I do have a quick follow-up question because I'm just gushing. So my question is, you mentioned earlier that in that research phase, would you say that as you've discovered trends and started to curate your own content, do you find that your content tends to be, how do you strike that balance between the content being about your book and about who you are as an author? Because even though your audience is primarily readers, do you talk about like, oh, a cat?
I've always had people in like video chats like, did a ghost open your door? It's like, no, it's my cat. She just came inside the room.
Aww. Yeah, it's so wholesome. I mean, like, to that end, like, do you find that you are making TikToks more as an author or more about the content of your book, A Boil with Fire, and then your broader trilogy?
So, great question. I started off talking about my book because as an author, that's what defines me, right? It's the book, the first ever book that you put out there is going to define you as a writer, for better or for worse, because writers always adapt. We always get better with each book. Hopefully we should. And so for me, my identity was around this book. And so I relentlessly created content about all the tropes in it, some of the different scenes in the book. Once I got character art of the book, I started posting character art. People went batshit crazy about it. And so after I started to know that I hooked my readers, I knew they were there. I knew I had a thriving community. I started to talk a little bit more about me, like my personal journey. One of the first few TikToks that went viral was about me, and it was like one of those trends of how that everyone related to, and it was about the pandemic and how people lost jobs in the pandemic. I lost my job in the pandemic, and it was that trend. It's I don't know what to do. It was like that. It's a Disney voiceover or something. It's like maybe it's the start of something new. And then and it was just me. It was like me feeling dejected, like losing my job, the pandemic. I don't know what to do. Like what's next? And then it says everything's gonna be better or whatever. It's like time to start something new. And then I held up my book. It's like my book is coming out in a few. And people love to see that. They love to see you overcome obstacles, because it's like your rags to riches Cinderella kind of story. People eat that shit up. They love it. I love it. And so I just, once I started seeing that, I posted similar videos about it, and that was one of those videos that went viral because of it. And it was just very true to who I am. I think, especially I think as a BIPOC creator, it's, especially in my community, it's kind of touchy. It's like saying if you lost your job or whatever, it's like, say you left your job instead of lost it. It's like, no, I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be real, because I know other people have also faced this. And so I think because of that, people really, really connected. And they love to see people triumph over evil or over obstacles. So if you can, paint that narrative, then, good on you.
That's really, really insightful. Thank you. Because navigating that balance, not just when it comes to TikTok, but just for content creation in general, can be precarious.
I will say, people love other marketing creators. I'm a marketing manager at the startup that I now work at, and marketing specialists will always say people love to hear about your story, about you. I personally believe before you can even start talking about you, you have to make people understand why they should even listen, right? A book is a really strong reason why people should listen, because you spent years, months writing this, right? Not everyone can write a book. Not everyone can publish a book. And you're one of the few people who can. So make an effort to showcase that. And once you put your foot in the door and say, I'm a capable human being because I wrote this book, and this book is about X, Y, and Z, people will start to listen and say, okay, she has some credibility. And that's when they'll start to pay attention to your story.
All right, Clara, any follow-up questions?
I think I'm good for now. I still have inquiry though.
Well, so I do have one question. We love to ask this question of every panelist. What has been your favorite moment of your book journey so far?
There's so many. So many. God. This past week, I've just been gifted with so much character art, that people have made out of their own love, and you just presented to me. And so love your characters, love this. And that's been a huge thing. I think one of my favorite things about the book journey is that somehow my elementary school teachers found out way back when, and I'm back in my hometown right now. And so they're like, we can't first is you went to Stanford, you published your book, it's doing well, it hit #1 on Amazon, yada, yada, yada. And so they're like, we got to let you come in and speak to our 5th graders. So I ended up talking to 5th graders about storytelling, and it was the most wholesome, heartwarming experience ever. At first I was scared. I was like, what am I going to tell 5th graders? How am I going to relate to them? But it was so much fun. It was a great blast. Down memory lane, because I got to meet my old teachers, some of them were still there, after 10, 15 years later. And just like connecting with these students. Some of them asked me to sign their hoodies, and I was like, I'm not going to do that because your mom might be angry. I'll sign your notebook instead. And so it just made me really happy. And some of them were like, now they're writing their own books and we're inspired by it. So I feel that's like the best part.
That's such a nice moment.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
I was like,
that's a good author outfit.
I know, that's the best. I was like, I gotta get a red one now to be on
brand.
Oh
yeah,
yes, to match the book.
Yes, get a
Absolutely.
red one, like a crimson kind of thing. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm like, I have TikTok followers now. I gotta get a company to sponsor me for all these book signing outfits.
Amazing.
That's a vibe.
Well, those are all of the questions that I have. Kyra, before I close things out here, any other wonderings?
Yes, I do have one last question. Okay, so we actually talk about this a lot throughout the beauty press journey, sort of, I mean, at large, but I really want to ask you this question as just a thriving book talker as yourself. Yeah. Do you feel that you have to know who your ideal reader is before you make content on TikTok? Or do you find that your idea of an ideal reader changes depending on who engages with the content you create?
Yeah. I would say yes to that question, to the latter half, because I came in. First of all, I think you should always know who your audience is, like even going into TikTok, like, and it could be the most, the basis of understanding. It's like, okay, I'm writing an adult fantasy sci-fi book. My readers are going to be fantasy and sci-fi readers. It's very broad, it's very general, but at least I have some kind of idea. As I started learning more about TikTok and started posting more, I realized people really responded well to book tropes. Readers who love enemies to lovers really connect to my videos and are very vocal about their passion for such stories. So I realized like those are my readers. Like if I talk about enemies to lovers tropes or how it fits my book or some of these scenes, people are going to go crazy. And so when I do these scenes, and I'll there's this like certain BookTok trend that goes with a certain video. I mean, certain sound. I can't remember it now. Where like at each change the line of text. So it could be a scene from your book. Like he says this, she says this, he says this. And then the mic drop moment where like either the guy says something or the woman says something like a burn or whatever. Like you can interpret it whichever way, and it's like the beat drop, and that's when that huge text goes up, and people ate that up. When I made it about enemies to lovers, it was like about a scene between the two of the main characters, and they just loved it. And so like there's so many ways you can interpret a trend. You just need to know, again, who your ideal audience member is, and then what they consume. I knew my audience member was sci-fi fantasy. I didn't know right away what they consumed. I later found out they consumed enemies to lovers content. They love slow burn contents. They love any kind of character art shown. And so once I began to understand kind of like the subtleties and the subgenres in a way, that's when I started to really get a lot of engagement on my videos.
In line with that same structure that you just outlined, something that's been growing increasingly popular just in the last week is where the user will go acting challenge. And that either means you can literally duet or just read it out loud. I find myself doing that a lot of the time where I'm just reading out loud with it because I'm like, me read the blue lines? Okay. Yeah. Just you do it. So you could use a scene from your book to create that same outline.
Yeah, always recreating scenes from your book is always fun. It puts you back into it puts you back in the story and like where you were when you wrote that scene. I think it's just such a special moment for us writers to reconnect with a scene, and then you could have fun with it. Like you could amend stuff because you're the author. You can change stuff up a little bit. You can change like the he said to he yelled, or like little things, and that's okay because you're an author and your piece is always developing and is always evolving because that's what books do. And so just have fun with it, and see what people respond to. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today, for answering all of our questions, for answering the audience questions. Do you have any parting words?
No. Did we get to all the audience questions? I'm not sure if I can't see.
We got to almost all of them.
Okay.
And actually, so this question that's here, you addressed it already live.
Great.
So yeah, we got to all of the audience questions.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
All right. Thank you so much again for your time today. We had a really great time chatting with you. Thank you to everyone who watched this coffee chat. If you are interested in watching future coffee chats and there is a topic that you are really interested in hearing more about, like today's TikTok topic, suggest one. Reach out to us at any of the links, accounts, emails below and suggest a topic. And we are happy to find someone who will have a great chat with about that idea. Otherwise, that is all for today. Thank you so much to everybody for coming and watching. It's been such a blast.
It's been really fun, guys. Have a great one.